Birth Story 13, The Professional Athlete. I'm going to record that again because I feel like there's a lot of people talking outside. Birth Story 13, The Professional Athlete. Mom. She planned for an unmedicated birth and pivoted when she needed. Achieved childbirth with IV fluids, Pitocin, and epidural anesthesia. Baby number 1, Blake, born November 1st, weighed 8 pounds, 14 ounces. Gestation, 39 weeks, 6 days. Labor. She experienced prom. Labor was induced 9 hours later, lasted 16 hours, and she pushed for 35 minutes. Dear Blake, your mom called me the summer before your birth, and we chatted on the phone for over an hour about her pregnancy and her exciting life as a former reality TV star. Your mom and dad were both professional athletes, and she desired to focus her physical talents and abilities on a natural childbirth. Throughout pregnancy, she practiced prenatal yoga to stay fit and connect and bond with you. At 36 weeks gestation, I met your parents to build out your mom's wishes for labor and delivery and put together a birth plan. It was a little tricky though, Blake, because we weren't sure if your dad was going to be playing in an NFL game whenever you decided to come. We had to plan for lots of differing scenarios. All your mom really wanted was for your dad to be part of the birth, and that is exactly what happened. On October 31st at 8:45 a.m., your mom sent me a text message to say her water had broken, but she was not having contractions. Soon after, your mom was contracting mildly and sporadically, but she still felt great. She decided to rest and eat and to do a few natural induction techniques. Pop out, natural induction techniques. I called upon my years of experience helping to ripen cervixes and get oxytocin flowing to write an amazing outline on natural induction techniques. It includes my secret sauces collected from all of my favorite doulas and midwives, including a recipe for labor oil. Unlock my popular Pro Tips for Natural Induction guide at birthstory.com. She wanted to wait at home to see if contractions would pick up. I arrived at 1 p.m. and it looked like a party was going on. Both families and several friends had arrived to cheer your mom on. Your mom was not feeling much, except her water continued to leak out as she moved around. The whole time I was there, she only had a few contractions. At 2:40 p.m., it had been 6 hours since her water ruptured without labor beginning, and her doctor urged her to come on into the hospital. This wasn't too unusual since labor typically begins within 6 to 8 hours after prom. However, the doctor was cautious about preventing an infection called chorioamnionitis if her water was ruptured for too long before the birth. So your parents agreed to check in. When we arrived at the hospital, your parents had the intention of having a non-stress test, NST, performed in triage, and then checking back out to labor at home and monitor your mom's temperature on their own. But they rolled out a metaphorical red carpet and gave the royal treatment to your parents. They all knew who your parents were, and they wanted to give them special attention. Your mom didn't even have to go to triage. She checked straight into her birthing suite at 3:10 p.m. A doctor on call came in to talk to your parents and urged them not to go home. He wanted them to stay and start an induction with Pitocin. Although this was as far from your mom's birth plan as she could have imagined, she was open to whatever path was given to her. Your parents discussed the new plan, agreed, and believed the best thing to do was to stay for an induction. First, the IV was placed, and the Pitocin started at 6 p.m., just 9 hours after her water broke. She was very nervous and a little shaky, but I assured her it would be okay and that she would meet you soon. Labor was gentle and mild at first, and the contractions started to slowly come. Your mom was most comfortable sitting in the bed and resting. I'm going to take a pause. Page 157. Okay, here we go. Blake, you are doing great. Your heart rate stayed right around 135 beats per minute the entire labor, and you never responded negatively to the induction. At her first cervical check, she was 3 centimeters dilated and a -3 station. You were very high. So there was a long way to go to get your mom's cervix effaced and dilated and to get you to come down and out. I gave your mom a massage and then she took a nap. Your dad was so funny because he started doing stretches in the hospital room. He had played a big game the night before and was still recovering himself. He was nervous and fidgety for your birth. He joked he was going to play video games that they had in the hospital room. He loves gadgets and gizmos and made sure he fiddled around with all the lights and switches. Your mom is a great cat napper and had no problem resting. When she awakened, she saw her personal doctor was there who decided to come in especially for your delivery, even though she was not on call. During the early phase, your mom was in great spirits with contractions 5 to 6 minutes apart. She was handling them well and still socializing with family as they visited. Your mom continued to try and rest as the contractions became longer and stronger and closer together. We tried moving positions every now and then, and your mom had to get up and go to the bathroom every 30 minutes or so. But she really was just most comfortable in the bed. At around 3 a.m., your mom started to grow extremely tired. The doctor checked her cervix and she had progressed to 5 centimeters dilated, 100% effaced. But you were still at a -3 station. You were turned face up, which is called occiput posterior, or OP. It can mark a long and slow labor because it takes time for your head to turn and engage in the pelvis. The Pitocin-induced contractions were 2 to 3 minutes apart and lasted for 1 minute now. Gotta add some stuff. Page 158. Lasted for 1 minute. Now, I probably should effectively use the pause button, but I really just don't understand how to do it, Joe, and I don't want to screw up. And longer, where was it? Here we go again. As much as she wanted and was capable of an all-natural childbirth, she accepted the birth journey that was unfolding. Her provider had her confined to the bed, and you were being continuously monitored out of extreme caution. Exhausted, she was unable to move for comfort, and you were sunny side up. She acknowledged these truths and elected for an epidural to have a great birthing experience. At 3:40 a.m., the anesthesiologist placed the epidural. She was happy, comfortable, and she went straight to bed. Your dad was totally snoring before she was. He was on the pull-out couch next to us, so we had a good laugh knowing he was comfy. At 6 a.m., your mom awakened in pain. Her voice was quivering, and she moaned through the contractions. I could see on the monitor the contractions remained 2 minutes apart. Your mom was wet, and she thought she was sweating. That would have been the best case scenario. Turns out the epidural was no longer in place, and the anesthesia was leaking out over her back. Her doctor called in anesthesia, who simply replaced the epidural. Immediately, your mom fell back asleep. Hold on. Immediately, your mom felt better and went back to sleep. A few hours later, your mom woke up with pressure in her rectum. She was 10 centimeters dilated, and you had turned and come down to a +2 station. Your mom felt strong and rested because of the rest the epidural had provided, and the doctor said she could try pushing if she wanted. Your mom started pushing at 9:15 a.m. She had one foot on her dad's chest. She had one foot on your dad's chest and one foot on my chest. Because she was a professional athlete, she had a very strong core. She pushed perfectly and easily with our guidance. Your mom was such a good pusher that the doctor had to tell her to not push as hard because you were coming too fast, which could cause vaginal tearing. So she breathed you down and out a bit slower. Within 35 minutes, you were emerging from your mom with your dad right by her side. Your mom first pushed out your cute little head, and the doctor suctioned your nose and throat. I'm going to have to take a pause because I got to make a note. Page 159. Out slow because squeeze fluid. I'm going to have to just make a little note to change the next book. I'm going to record it again with something else, like one, and I hope I have the liberty to do it. So essentially, Joe, I said, which could cause vaginal tearing, but it's also so that the fluid is squeezed out of the lungs. So I left that out of the book, but that's really important. So I'm just going to record it again and see if we can keep it as part of the audiobook. And if not, just keep the original if I'm not at liberty to do 10 more words or whatever. Because she was a professional athlete, she had a very strong core. She pushed perfectly and easily with our guidance. Your mom was such a good pusher that the doctor had to tell her to not push as hard because you were coming too fast, which could cause vaginal tearing, but also doesn't give enough time to squeeze the fluid from your lungs. So she breathed you down and out a bit slower. Within 35 minutes, you were emerging from your mom with your dad right by her side. Your mom first pushed out your cute little head, and the doctor suctioned your nose and throat. Your mom looked down, and there you were, eyes open toward your dad with your body still inside her. On the next contraction, your mom pushed out your shoulders and the rest of your body. The doctor rested you right on your mom's chest for skin-to-skin contact. Pop out, skin-to-skin contact. When your baby is born, it is imperative to be skin-to-skin immediately or as soon as medically possible. Dr. Sarah Buckley, author of Gentle Birth, Gentle Mothering, reminds us about mutual regulation. Quote, mutual regulation involves you and your baby exchanging information and influencing each other's body processes for ongoing well-being and optimal development. Mutual regulation is crucial for our young babies who are less able to control their own body processes. For example, newborn babies have difficulty keeping themselves warm, but will be perfectly heated when skin to skin on the mother's chest. When your newborn is placed on your naked chest, your skin temperature will immediately increase to warm your baby, making your skin-to-skin newborn warmer than a newborn who is dressed and placed in a crib or cot. End quote. If you are not birthing naked, make sure to remove your hospital gown, your bra, or tank top before delivery so your baby can move to your chest without interruption. You cried right away. Your parents just stared at you, and your mom said in amazement, "Was he really inside of me?" Blake, you were born at 10:02 a.m. and weighed 8 pounds, 14 ounces. Much love. Your doula, Heidi. Birth affirmation. I welcome each wave. I ride each wave.